It is 1 p.m. Thank you so much for watching UBC Lunchtime News. My name is Sharon Chomdisha. In our top stories today, the Ministry of Education and Sports has declared a funding gap to a tune of 1.68 trillion shillings to address the challenges affecting the sector. The Ministry's National Budget Framework Paper for the financial year 2020-2021 reveals continued understaffing in public learning institutions to face the increasing enrollments of learners at all levels of education system. The First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, says an increase in the budget allocation to the sector would help in carrying out critical and strategic activities needed to transform the sector. We have a detailed report.
The Ministry of Education and Sports has so far spent 918 billion shillings of the approved budget released by the Ministry of Finance during the first half of the financial year 2019-2020. The sector's current budget stands at 3.398 trillion shillings, 1.811 trillion caters for wages, 0.963 trillion covers non-wage recurrent costs, 0.30 trillion shillings for domestic development, whereas 0.31 trillion is donor funding. While presenting the sector's performance during the first half of the financial year 2019-2020 to the Parliamentary Committee on Education and Sports, Janet Museveni said that the sector has progressed in critical areas.
We have a project that was funded by Global Partnership for Education, and they have given us condition that unless we increase our education budget, they will not give us a second round of grant, which we could get, which we are supposed to get. But if we don't get increased budget, national budget for education, we will not get that grant, which was a reasonable amount of money that would help us really to finish all the primary schools that we need in the country.
She revealed that the sector has developed an analysis report for the Ministry's 5-year strategic plan for the financial year 2020 to 2025. Mrs. Museveni said the Ministry also plans to implement the National Teachers Policy, Technical Vocational Education Training Policy, and the White Paper for the Rendere Visitation Committee report for Makerere University, which will help in reviewing the University and Other Tertiary Institutions Act. The sector also registered a total of 49 medals across various sports disciplines, of which 14 were gold, 15 silver, and 18 bronze. The Parliamentary Committee on Education and Sports, chaired by Jacob Okrut, received responses from the Ministry's officials in regards to allocation of resources to the different sectors. The State Minister for Sports, Dennis Obua Hamson, also made his maiden statement to the committee.
I want to promise you that with the guidance of the Senior Minister, which she has already done, the future, in my opinion, I serve the God of breakthrough and the God of Israel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The future is bright.
As he takes on his new role, the sports sector is looking forward to participate in the national sports and athletics teams events such as AFCON, Olympic Games,
when you look at the quality
to mention but a few of the 11 sporting events. The Ministry's budgetary allocation for the financial year 2020 to 2021 is projected to be at 3.28 trillion shillings, a reduction by 111.17 billion shillings from 3.397 trillion shillings in the financial year 2019 to 2020 due to completion of donor-funded projects. Remija Simbonye, UBC News.
Well, that was the Ministry of Education and Sports that wants the budget increased to 1.686 trillion shillings. Moving on from that, the Prime Minister, Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda, has commended the Anglican Church for its efforts to its marital sermons. Now he was addressing believers at Namirembe Cathedral in Kampala as he joined others to celebrate Golden Jubilee of their former lecturer, Professor Sebufu Peter. Take a look.
The Prime Minister, Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda, has graced the 50th golden wedding anniversary of Mr. and Mrs. Sebuwofu at Namirembe Cathedral. The two, Peter and Rose, renewed their vows before Reverend Dr. George Sinabulia, who in his sermon emphasized to the marrieds to seek God's guidance.
That's the only advice mubisigale mu Yesu. Tambula ng'oli mu Yesu. Tembeya naye sabalabirize yagenda Mukama muwe ekiwumula. Ntembeya nani? No Yesu. Tembeya na Yesu. Era ffe tutembeya na Yesu n'omuwala oyo. Tutembeya naye up to now yatembeya bwe tubeera motoka tutembeya.
Professor Sebuwofu is a former Makerere University don who taught a number of senior officials who are now working in various sectors across the globe.
He would handle us very well with his characteristic smile, and you'd find that what we thought was a tough subject, difficult subject, and unattractive, you'd find anatomy more and more appealing. So, Professor, thank you for making anatomy a very attractive subject.
The Premier commended Professor Sebuwofu for his contribution towards the academia and tasked other people to emulate such people's legacy.
Let me say that my wife and I will give a heifer to Rose and Professor Sebuwofu for in recognition really of their great work, and I think they shouldn't be running too far to get milk. They should get milk close to their home.
Professor Sebuwofu served as Minister for Health in Binaisa's government. Together with his wife, they are blessed with 2 sons and 5 daughters. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News at Namirembe Cathedral.
Well, such an inspiration in marriage. Congratulations to the Sebufus. Moving on from that, the Commander Peace Support Operations in Singo, Colonel Benry Geoffrey Woliwa, has teached the reserve force on discipline. This was a single training center in Singo during the final training of the 30th Battle Group.
These are routine trainings which the Reserve Forces undergoes every year after being recalled with the aim of maintaining peace and stability in Somalia under African Union Mission in Somalia, AMSOM. This is the 3rd battle group which was recalled in June last year. The Commander Peace Support Operation in Singo, Colonel Ben Geoffrey Walimbwa says, through AMSOM under GPO, they are joining with some trainers from different countries.
GPO is a global peace initiative operations, and what we have done is under GPO, we have the American Marines, we have the British training team, we have the French, which has already trained their part, and in fact they have gone back until maybe another battle group when it has come. That's when they also come back. And we have the Dutch from Netherlands. They just finished their package of recent.
The trainees have spent 7 months in training.
Abasomesa batuyisiza mu misomo egy'enjawulo okusookera ddala kintu kirungi nnyo ate kyamaanyi nnyo okusookera ddala okwekuuma. Tulina okumanya nti obuvunaanyizibwa bwe twabuyingiramu tubwagala. Singa twali tubuyingiddemu nga tetwagala era nga tetuli bavumu, twalibadde tetutuuka ku ssa lino lye tuliko.
This group consists of 3,015 reservists, 115 are female and 2,860 are male.
Abantu abo bava mu bifo bya njawulo naye nga ekibinja ekinene nnyo ky'ekibinja ky'aba veteran oba abazirwanako, abalala nga bakuba emmundu za njawulo kati baludde bamaze ebbanga ggwanvu mu byalo byabwe nga bakakkala byate emirimu emirala kati bejjukanya emmundu ze baakozesanga nga bakyali mu magye. Tugenda Somalia mu kifo ekiyitibwa Albiska.
Major Betty Tekati Akelo ended service in 2014. He says women play a big part in Somalia.
Kati kyanguwa nnyo omukyala okusobola okugenda n'ayogeraganya ne mutabani oba omwami we n'amuwangula endowooza eyo n'agikyusa ne omutima gwe ogwo gubadde gulowooza okubeereyo ng'alwana asobole okuvaayo akomewo mu gavumenti ye okulaba nti aleeta emirembe.
Commander Bihuje Mumusoke, the group commander, says these soldiers have acquired ample training.
is that they should always keep themselves safe, keep themselves fit, because there is still an arrangement to bring more to participate in this mission. So let them just keep fit, keep safe.
I'm Namamode Deborah, UBC.
Efforts to rescue bodies from the collapsed Ginger building are still ongoing. 3 more bodies were recovered on Thursday evening, making a total number of the death toll rising to 5. Police is being assisted by the UPDF and Uganda to retrieve the bodies from the collapsed building. 8 people are said to have sustained serious injuries, and these were rushed to Ginger Referral Hospital, where they are obtaining treatment from. According to the Uganda police, the exact number which might have gotten stuck under the rubble is not yet clear, as the site engineer of the building is still on the run.
Kwatagana ne ba supervisor ku kizimbe kino batukakase omuwendo gw'abantu gwennyini ogwabaddewo nga akabenje kano kagwawo kisobola okutuyambako okumanya oba betwajjeeyo beebo oba mukyalimu abalala naye nga tukyayina abafudde 2 betwajjeeyo olunaku lw'eggulo abalumiziddwa bali 8 mulimu n'abana abavuddeyo naye nga tebalumiziddwa. Kusaawa eno tusaba abantu basigale nga bakkakkamu bakendeezeeko okugeza ennamba y'abantu abalumiziddwa oba abafudde, naye nga tetubakakasa nti tugenda kubeerawo wano okunoonya okuyiikula ettaka eryo oba bulooka ezo paka lwe tunaakakasa nti temuliimu muntu yenna asigaddemu.
Well, sad, we pray that they still get more people out of that building. In more stories of the day, Uganda National Examinations Board has released 2019 primary living examination results. Results show that boys performed better than girls, and a total of 690,243 of the 695,804 who sat at the 2019 UNEB across the country passed in Division 1. Our reporters are at the grounds of Kampala Parents, where the results have been taking place.
Well, thank you so much. My name is Ivan Kahwa, and we are camping at Kampala Parents, where the Minister for Education and Sports, who is also the First Lady, Janet Kataha Museveni, has released the PLE results for 2019. The PLE results were conducted last year on the 4th and 5th of November, and today we were here to witness how the entire process fared, with how many students sat, how many lost it out, how many were ungraded. And so far, for the few statistics we've had, we have witnessed that the number of students registered in 2019 were actually more when you compare with those who sat in 2018. Specifically for the figures, this year they were 695,804, and last year they were 671,923. And of course, this increase in the number of students as well led to the increase in the number of centers where these students sat their examinations. And we saw the number of centers increasing from 13,072 to 13,475. And of course, in this entire process, we look at also the people living with disability. This time around, PWDs have been catered for, and of course, we've seen a number of them performing well. And at least the Executive Secretary of UNEB, that is Dan Odong, read out about 3 names of persons living with disabilities who performed extremely well. There is one who performed well in Wise with the 9 aggregates, and she is a person with disability. There is another one from Wakiso, and the other in the district of Arua, who managed to get 13 aggregates, and this is the 2nd division. He was the overall best performing student when it comes to PWDs in that area. And for the issue of the papers that were done well, we have English and social studies. These were extremely done well according to the just released primary living examinations. And in this entire exercise, of course, you expect there should be quite some challenges. However, they have they have been talked about in this specific release, and we are seeing the issue of weather that affected the entire process of primary leaving examinations. We have also witnessed the issue of malpractice. And from this specific point, before I go any further, I'm joined by my colleague Philip Aguta, who has been in this specific room where we are witnessing the just released primary leaving examinations. Mr. Aguta, we're looking at UPE schools registering a decrease in the number of students who are going to them, and we are seeing an increase of students going into private schools. In your own assessment, do you think that people are running away from government schools? They no longer trust the way they do their teaching. What do you think in your assessment?
Thank you, Ivan. I think the issue is about what you have to offer, what you have at your hand to offer. And I think these private schools, because of liberalization policy, these private schools, they have better facilities, I can say infrastructures like the classrooms, and what they give to the students, I think it is much higher because of also the pay in these private schools. That's why I think many people think these private schools are performing so much better. Yes.
So in other words, you believe that now government should streamline and ensure that they provide all the necessities in government schools for the students to learn better?
Yeah, I think if you go across the country, you look at the infrastructure of government schools, they need to improve, especially in terms of classrooms, and even those the desks in the classrooms and the facilities. And you can see even the First Lady was able to say that we came to release the results in a private school here, like these Kampala parents, because they have better infrastructure. When we have a series of government schools here around Kampala. So that shows to you the issue may be mainly infrastructure and the teaching of the pupils. Yes.
Then what do you make of government that relocated some people who are in these areas that were facing floods and so forth? Do you think in one way or the other it also affected the performance of some students in those specific districts?
Of course, psychologically, when you are new in a place, even the way you think, the way you do everything is differently. What about when it is to exams? I think even some pupils felt a bit frustrated, especially in Mbulambuli or this mid-eastern Uganda. So many of them were affected by floods and they were relocated. So I think it naturally has to affect them. And if you look at this number of withheld also results, about 1,500 students, their results have been withheld. The good thing is those students in those areas which you think would have been affected, they were not mentioned here. These are mainly these urban schools whose results are withheld. I think the issue of malpractice needs to be dealt with. Much as 66, over 60 people are now in prison answering queries. But I think the Ministry of Education has to do more. And given the fact that some of this malpractice is being helped by the teachers themselves.
External forces, they say 99.9.
People within the schools. So I think the Ministry of Education has to intensify their system to make sure that such issues. Actually, I wish I had the opportunity to ask the UNEB, but I didn't. They were blaming the leaking of fake papers. So why should they allow leaking of fake papers when they are really in charge? So that's an issue which they need to tighten their belts and make sure that it is not affecting our students. Because you can see if a student or these pupils in the evening, they are caught on a different paper. When they reach in the classroom and they see another paper, definitely, psychologically, they can even be affected to do whatever they're supposed to do. I think that's what I can say.
Yes, now summing up, Aguta, we're also looking at quite a number of students whose results were withheld, but of course, government has said that they have instituted an investigation committee to look into this matter and so that it may be fixed. But are you convinced that the 61 persons who are arrested over malpractice, it will send a message out there to those people who will continue doing this specific issue?
I think everyone believes that prevention is better than cure. Ministry of Education and UNEB, they have all the powers to avoid these things from happening. But it is unfortunate if they want to be always proactive. I mean, to do things afterwards, which I think is not good. And if you look at the number of malpractice which has been in these schools, I think even those 60 people arrested, they are not enough. Their number is not enough. I believe many more. I will be happy to hear that some of these private schools, which are actually always think they perform better, they are even actually the leading in this multi-practice. I wish I could see students, some head teachers, some teachers being arrested because of multi-practice. Then I will be very happy.
Thank you so much, Aguda. You're welcome. And now, of course, we have seen even examiners giving their report that many students have at least improved on their way of presenting issues when they are answering papers, and even some others are writing very well. That is according to the examiners. But of course, these are things that many times that are not put into consideration. But I would say that if the examiners have come out to intensify and even tell us that students are improving in one or the other, this is one thing that really needs to be appreciated. I would remind you that on the 23rd and 24th of this month, January, the Minister for Sports and Education has actually said that the Senior 1 selection exercise will take place at Uma Lugogo grounds here in Kampala, and absolutely that's when we shall expect to see who qualifies to go for government schools. My name is Ivan Kawa. I would hand back to studio for now.
Thank you so much, Ivan Kawa, for that insight, for that analysis on UNAIB as it was announced today, and the results are out while others are withheld. Now, UBC Lunchtime News will take a short commercial break and we'll be back with more news for you.